Kyoto has to be the one city that's on just about everybody's Japan travel itinerary. It is one of Japan's ancient capitals that's packed with over 2,000 temples and shrines, traditional streets, geisha culture, incredible seasonal beauty, and some of the best food in the country. And that's why it should come as no surprise that it remains one of Japan's top spots for travelers. I'm Steve from the Fat Life Project. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing everything I did over 3 days in Kyoto. I'll also cover some helpful first-timer tips such as how to get there, where to stay, and lessons that I picked up along the way whilst I was navigating my way through Kyoto. Right, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's first talk about how to get there. Most people would spend some time in Osaka before heading over, as that is where the Kansai International Airport, aka the closest international airport is. In fact, that's what I did, and if that's you as well, the cheapest way to get there would be via the Hankyu Line trains. That should take you around 40 to 45 minutes. It costs just around 400 yen and doesn't require any additional ticket, just use your Japan IC card. However, if you're heading straight from the Kansai International Airport to Kyoto, the fastest way for you would be via the JR Haruka Express. That will take around 75 minutes. To minimize hassle upon arrival, I recommend pre-booking your tickets, and you can do that via the West JR website or via third-party sites like Klook. Once you've purchased your tickets, you'll be issued a QR code that you can use to skip the queues, scan, and directly board. Of course, riding the Shinkansen is also an option, but I would only recommend this if you have a JR pass. If you're wondering what a JR pass is and do you need it, I do actually have a quick short that I'm going to try to link here or in my description box that's going to run you through 5 things that are going to help you determine if you need a JR pass. But long story short, unless you're planning to do multiple cities during your Japan trip, a JR pass is not going to be worth it for you from a price perspective, which means you're going to be purchasing a single ride ticket anyway, and in which case the other 2 options that I've outlined earlier are going to be cheaper for you. If you don't already have a Suica or Pasmo or another Japan IC card, make sure that you get an Ikoka card as soon as you arrive, as you're going to need it to ride all forms of public transportation in Kyoto. And just as a reminder, if you do have an iPhone, you can actually activate one within Apple Wallet. That and Google Maps is all you're going to need to navigate Kyoto efficiently. Though you also want to make sure that you're going to be staying somewhere central that's going to allow you to easily get to most of the major attraction spots in Kyoto. And if you're a first-time visitor, I recommend staying in downtown Kyoto, as that is going to place you close to all the major subway lines. And also you'll be within walking distance to attraction spots such as Nishiki Market and the Gion District. In terms of where to stay, I can only honestly recommend the ones that I've stayed at before, and that includes the Hotel Forza in Kyoto Shijokawari-machi, that is super central with free Wi-Fi, and my personal favorite feature at any hotel, laundry facilities. The room I booked cost me around 80 Aussie dollars a night. However, if you like having the convenience of an onsen at your hotel, then I would recommend the Super Hotel Kyoto, as it has exactly that, and also free Wi-Fi and on-site laundry facilities. Although the rooms here are a tiny bit small, I feel that they are pretty adequate for a solo traveler like myself. Booking links for either hotel will be in my description box for your ease of reference. Right, you've arrived, you've checked in, and you're settled down and ready to explore Kyoto. So here's my 3-day Kyoto itinerary with everything you need to do in this magical city. And I actually recommend starting day 1 nice and early, generally before 8 AM, as we are going to be visiting one of Kyoto's most iconic spots. The Fushimi Inari Taisha is a historic Shinto shrine dedicated to Inari, the god of rice known to bring prosperity and business success. It is the head shrine of over 30,000 Inari shrines across Japan and is famous for this Senbon Torii tunnel, comprising over 10,000 vermilion torii gates that form enchanting tunnels along hiking trails right up to Mount Inari. It is said walking all the way through will bring you good luck, prosperity, and success in business. Lore aside, these torii gates are also absolutely stunning to look at. How long you're going to spend in here depends on how far along the trail you want to go. The full loop from the entrance right up to the summit is roughly about 5 kilometers and will take you around 2 hours or so. But you can also head to the halfway point, which is about 30 minutes from the entrance. Do note that both options will have a lot of elevation, so do bring a comfortable pair of walking shoes. And I hope that you're hungry after all of that, as our next stop is going to be Nishiki Market, also known as Kyoto's Kitchen. It is a vibrant covered shopping street that is centuries old and packed with over 100 specialized stalls and shops selling fresh seasonal ingredients, traditional Kyoto specialties, and irresistible street food. So bring cash and be ready to indulge. What I'm about to say about this next stop that we're heading up after lunch is going to be slightly controversial, but in my opinion, no one should be visiting the Gion District without a tour guide. Hear me out. A lot of tourists come here and focus on renting a kimono and doing all those Insta-worthy shots, and listen, there's nothing wrong with that, but respectfully, you're gonna learn so much more about the history and cultural significance of this area, and also avoid being like one of those who drove the implementation of the tourist ban in certain areas in Gion. I learned so many things, like for example, did you know that younger geishas are called maikos? And you can tell the difference between a maiko and a geisha in their makeup. I learned this and so much more about the Gion history thanks to a friendly tour guide that I booked via Klook, so I definitely recommend you do the same. There are plenty of shrines in Kyoto. The tour in fact already included a visit to the Yasaka Shrine, but the shrine that I visited after the tour was one that I had on my list whilst I was planning for my Kyoto trip, and I did it right after the tour as it's in the Gion District. This is the Yasui Konpiragu Shrine, home to this famous love stone that helps you get rid of toxic relationships and welcome new ones for just 100 yen. To do this, simply write your wishes on a piece of paper and stick it onto the stone before crawling into and back through the hole of the stone. Does it actually work? Listen, I don't know, but I don't think any of us have ever complained about having too much luck, and for 100 yen, what do you got to lose? And if you've been following this itinerary closely, this is now going to take you closer to its dinner time. Just walking down some quiet streets here in Kyoto to check out a rather unique Iranian spot. And your trip to Kyoto is not complete until you've visited this duck ramen spot that's tucked away in a narrow alley identifiable only by their shop sign that comprises of just 2 emoticons. As the emoticon suggests, Gion Duck Noodles is famous for, well, exactly that. This cozy, intimate spot seats just around 8 to 9 people and serves a small menu that also showcases all of the available dishes using just emoticons. Helmed by a former French chef, I got their flagship duck ramen consisting a light yet deeply aromatic clear broth, tender sous vide duck slices, by the way you can choose from duck breast, loin, thigh, finished off with some thin al dente noodles. I kid you not when I say this is one of the best things I've had in my life. The super flavorful broth came with a French twist as I could taste a citrusy orange element in there, and I personally will remember the soft tender duck meat for a long time to come. It is no wonder that Gion Duck Noodles is raved about and is one of Tabelog's top 100 restaurants. After dinner, you may wish to explore the Gion District at night, soak in the atmosphere, and perhaps even catch a glimpse of a geisha or two. Though note that please do not take any photographs or videos of them. Otherwise, it is time to head back to rest after what I believe has been a solid introduction to Kyoto's charm as we have a busy day 2 planned. After a quick stop at the konbini store for breakfast, I started day 2 at Mikane Jinja Shrine. The list of shrines in Kyoto are fairly extensive, but this next one is easily one of the most popular ones. Also known as the Golden or Money Shrine, that is located near the Shujokawara Machi and is dedicated to the deity of prosperous business, financial success, and good fortune in money matters. The reason why I wanted to make this shrine as my first stop on day 2 is that it can get pretty crowded, with some people claiming that they have to wait up to 2 to 3 hours to get in. The shrine is immediately identifiable thanks to its golden torii gates. First, cleanse your hands at the Chozuya, aka the water springs. Once it is your turn to pray to the deity, throw your coin in, pull the rope, bow twice, before clapping twice again to state your wish. Once you've done that, head on over to purchase yourself a good luck charm or write your wish on an emma to further seal the deal. However, do not leave until you've washed some money at the Chozuya. It is said that keeping the wash bill in your wallet is going to help you multiply your fortunes, and honestly, that was all the convincing I needed. Once that is all done, it is time to head over to Arashiyama, and that should take you around 30 minutes via train. Start off your Arashiyama adventures at the Togetsukyo Bridge, also known as the Moon Crossing Bridge. It is one of Arashiyama's most picturesque and iconic landmarks, crossing Katsura River that was built back in 1934. I was here in summer, so this place was also a great spot to cool down, but guys, I also found some pictures of this bridge during spring and autumn, and I don't know about you guys, but these pictures alone are enough to convince me to make a return trip. Another shrine worth checking out in the area is the Nonomiya Shrine, which is located right next to the entrance to the famous bamboo forest path and is known as a powerful spot for love, matchmaking, fertility, safe childbirth, and good relationships, drawing many visitors, especially women, to pray and hang emma plates with heartfelt wishes. You will have to cross the bridge and visit the shrine to get to this next spot, the Arashiyama Bamboo Forest. It is quite possibly one of the most famous spots in Kyoto and comprises a serene pathway lined with towering, slender bamboo stalks, creating a mesmerizing green cathedral of light and shadows. This spot does get a little crowded towards midday, so it's good to get it crossed off earlier on in the day. The good news is the main path isn't too long and should take just around an hour to explore properly. After a walk in the bamboo forest, it is now time for lunch. There are plenty of food options in the area, but I can never say no to an authentic Japanese spread. So I dropped by the Arashiyama Gyatei restaurant that specializes in traditional Kyoto-style obanzai, aka home-cooked small dishes made from fresh seasonal ingredients that highlight the elegance and subtlety of local flavors. The serving sizes of each dish is small, but there is so many of them that you'll be full by the end of it. And also the meal's presentation, as you can see here, is A+. Briefly dropped by the Kimono Forest after lunch. It is a whimsical and visually stunning modern installation that celebrates traditional Japanese kimono culture in a contemporary way, located at the Hankyu Arashiyama station that comprises well over 600 colorful pillars, each one a transparent acrylic tube displaying vibrant full-size kimono patterns and fabrics inside. Before heading over to the Tenryu-ji Temple, also known as the Heavenly Dragon Temple, and is one of Kyoto's most revered and beautiful Zen temples. This UNESCO World Heritage Site was founded back in 1339 by the shogun Ashikaga Takauji to honor Emperor Go-Daigo, and is celebrated for its profound Zen heritage and exquisite landscape gardens. The temple's highlight is the magnificent Sogenji Garden, featuring a backdrop of the surrounding Arashiyama Mountains and Togetsukyo Bridge. Spend the remaining afternoon exploring the rest of the shops in the central Arashiyama area before heading over to ride the Sagano romantic train in the evening. I recommend looking at slots after 5 p.m, especially in the months of October to December, as that is when the Hozu River path is illuminated with well over 1,000 colorful lights along the tracks, stations and riverbanks, highlighting the stunning illuminated foliage of the forest. It really is the perfect, serene and unforgettable way to end your Arashiyama adventures in Kyoto. However, do note that this night show is only available over autumn. The train will only run in the daytime during the spring and summer months, and also it will not be running during winter. However, it is still worth catching the train in the daytime if you're here during spring and summer. I mean, come on, just look at these pictures. This should take you all the way to the evening, and so it's now time to head back to your hotel to rest, as we are going to finish off strong on day 3. We're just going to start with something quite modern. Let's visit the largest teamLab in Japan. teamLab Biovortex Kyoto opened in October 2025 and spans 10,000 square meters across 4 floors, comprising over 50 interactive artworks, including some that are exclusive to this particular teamLab only. As it is still fairly new and popular, I recommend taking this one off first thing in the morning. The entire place should take around 3 to 4 hours to properly explore. I'm not going to go into too much detail about Biovortex, as I have previously done a full video about it, and so if you do have any other burning questions regarding teamLab Biovortex, I do recommend checking out that video, which I'm gonna link in my description box for your ease of reference. You will also, by the way, find the ticket booking links for teamLab Biovortex in the same spot. And located about half an hour away from Biovortex is one of the most popular mochi shops in Kyoto. Mochi Mochi is a lively, crowd-drawing street food spot in Kyoto's historic Higashiyama ward. The main attraction here is the high-energy traditional mochi pounding demonstration performed right in front of the visitors, where skilled craftsmen rhythmically slam massive wooden mallets into steaming glutinous rice into a wooden mortar, with one person turning and wetting the dough in perfect sync. The store specializes in fresh handmade daifuku mochi, often filled with juicy strawberries and sweet red bean paste, finished off with kinako for the ultra chewy, stretchy texture that is best enjoyed warm on the spot, and that is exactly what I did.
So they've actually got a matcha strawberry or a chocolate strawberry. I got the chocolate, as you can see here. This was 1,000 yen, which is not exactly cheap for Japan, but it's not too expensive for Australia, and more importantly, it's gone viral all over, so it must be good, right? Let's give it a go.
So the mochi is really stretchy and chewy, which is exactly what you want a mochi to be. And it's got this thick chocolate filling in the middle. I don't know if you can see it. Guys, it's actually really good.
This next spot is one that I don't think is mentioned in any of the travel guides that I've seen. The Kyoto National Museum is housed inside a building founded back in 1897. Located right next to Kyoto Station, it is home to over 13,000 artifacts that chronicle Kyoto's 1,200-year history. The museum's elegantly maintained gardens also make it a perfect break, especially after days of dealing with crowds in the other busier touristy areas. Entry to the museum is just 700 yen and free for under 18s. And if you've been following this itinerary spot for spot, this this is now going to take you to the late afternoon, so let's have some afternoon tea. The cafe that we're going to is conveniently located across the street from the museum at the Hyatt Regency Kyoto, which houses Cafe 33, responsible for this viral sensation, the ice cube coffee. They only serve 5 to 10 servings of this on a daily basis, and I actually dropped by here before I went to the museum to make a reservation. The drink features a massive hand-carved block of crystal clear ice with a hollowed out glass cavity inside for the coffee. The server is going to pour cold brew coffee into the cavity and recommends you drink the coffee as it is first before adding in some milk and syrup for the second drink according to your taste. The drink cost me around 2,000 yen, but I got like 3 serves of coffee out of it, so in my opinion the price isn't too bad. And I also got a slice of tiramisu to enjoy with the coffee and chilled here to rest for a bit after all that walking today. Cafe 33 though is not the only viral spot I checked out. After my cafe session, I headed over to This Is Surgeon. It is a cafe that has been trending on social media thanks to these super aesthetic desserts. The cafe's decor is a blend of a flower and dessert shop filled with potted plants, lush greenery, nature-themed paintings, and crafty decor. You must of course get an iced bouquet that comprises a premium vanilla soft serve in a chocolate or charcoal waffle cone, topped with hyper-realistic edible flowers, meticulously crafted from sweetened red bean paste and candy jewels. The details on this is absolutely insane, and whilst I do think it's slightly gimmicky, the taste itself is also pretty good. I finished up day 3 by exploring downtown Kyoto and even dropped by the Nintendo Kyoto store, as I had run out of time to tick off the Nintendo Museum off my list. This store, however, is still worth dropping in on, as it sells some merchandise that is exclusive only to the Kyoto store. After the Nintendo store, I dropped by Nishiki Market again for some dinner. But I'm honestly a bit sad that my trip to Kyoto has come to an end. One thing's for sure, Kyoto, I am definitely coming back. If this video is making you ready to book that trip to Kyoto, you are going to find my Kyoto First Timers PDF guide helpful, as it contains all the location links and booking information of the spots mentioned in this video. Plus, I've even thrown in some additional spots that I reckon you should be checking out if you have extra time in your Kyoto trip. I've also thrown in some discount codes, a pre-travel checklist that you're going to find helpful. The link to that PDF document is going to be in my description box. But for now, that's a wrap on my incredible 3 days in Kyoto, a city that has delivered on every front from history, food to art. I do hope that you found value in today's video, and if you have, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things that you know are going to appease those holy YouTube algorithm gods, but much more importantly, it's just going to make my day as a content creator. Specifically, if you do have feedback or questions for me, do drop them in the comment section, as I do love hearing from the people who take time to watch my videos. And as always, I hope that you have a fantastic day ahead, or that you've already had a good day. I am going to see you real soon in the next video. Ciao!